Coming home to school is perhaps the best experience ever. I have with me Satish Mummareddy, who is a alumni of Hyderabad Public School and your former product manager with Meta, and now with your own startup. What's this experience been like? Because everyone's looking to Meta and to the technology world to know how the world is going to open up for them.
Yep. So I think this has been a pretty eye-opening experience for me in a few different ways. The first part of it, coming back to HPS after 30 years, it helped me realize where my foundations and my principles in life come from. So that was like the first part of it. Just walking around the campus made me connect back to that. The second part of the thing was hearing all of the great Indian leaders speak about the changes that are happening and then the vision that they have for India and how they view the rise of not just the tier 1 cities but the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities and then making them just as good as a tier 1. That part of it has been like pretty eye-opening for me, and it's inspired me to care more deeply about India and actually like give back to the community. So that's the second thing that has come out of this experience for me. And then the third thing is about content creation, it was a privilege to actually sit on the stage with mainstream actors like Rana, and then talk about the fact that both mainstream content creators and technology-based content creation are going to be complementary to each other, and they're going to actually like make better content together. So that was the third part of it. So those were the three key takeaways for me coming back to school.
Okay. Youngsters, everyone, are fiddling with technology and perhaps making careers and futures out of it as well. Yeah. At a time when parents are extremely apprehensive about the digital devices that they are using, where do you think parents need to put that stop line, or allowing free access is really the only way forward?
Yeah, I used to work on Instagram on teen well-being, and I've thought about this problem a lot. And fundamentally, it comes down to the fact that usage of technology is beneficial for people when it is done the right way. And parents have a great role to play in shaping how kids are using technology. It starts with how much time they're spending on their devices, to which accounts are they following on Instagram, and what are they doing with respect to their content creation and consumption habits. So what I feel is that technology is a great enabler, but it comes with actually like parents partnering with their kids and then making sure that they're using it in the right way.
Very often, parents are quite ignorant about technology. I'm saying I may know Facebook, I may know Twitter, and yet I don't know many of the things that Gen Next would do. So how am I going to police a space or regulate a space that I'm not even familiar with?
Yeah. So I think this is an interesting question where kids are actually like ahead of the parents in understanding of technology. What the big companies have been doing, especially Meta, has been that they're building tools to help parents be aware of what the kids are doing on social media, and then help them actually set some guidelines around that. And once the tools are in place, they're actually trying to educate the parents about what is available for them with respect to actually supporting their kids' social media and tech usage. So I think that that's a part of it. There is an awareness gap, but it's just not on the tech companies to actually build awareness for parents. It's actually schools who should be teaching parents about actually social media use. It should be the governments who are actually teaching parents about social media use as well. Just like how we are actually educating people about how to deal with different aspects of life, we should also be teaching parents about actually how to help kids use technology in better ways, because technology is an enabler for everyone, and when used in the right way. And I think that we need to teach parents how to help their kids in the right way.
When generative AI comes, it's overwhelming. I mean, we don't even begin to understand where we are going. So is that an area of opportunity? What do you see? I see now children in all domains actually cannot escape this, and they need to be familiar with it. Are we doing enough in our schools, colleges, or is the learning going to come from elsewhere?
Yeah. So with generative AI is moving at an extremely fast pace, and the good part of it is that there is just a lot of incredible educational content that is being created by all of the tech companies. Google has courses on generative AI, Microsoft has courses on generative AI, Facebook is doing a lot of open sourcing of the software for generative AI. So in some form, the education is actually like coming from the industries, because actually like they are leading it, and they are making a huge push to educate people on these skills. So that's what's happening with respect to education. Then the part that is really interesting is there is going to be a new set of creators. And when I say creators, uh, in the past, like doing design used to be something about learning Photoshop, but now learning to become a designer is going to be not just about learning to use Photoshop, but it's about how do you actually use generative AI technologies to pair and actually like do the work faster, better, and cheaper. So I think every one of these skills of digital technologies is going to change, and it's going to be paired with actually like generative AI. It's kind of how actually like having computers changed other forms of art, how internet changed actually like just using software. Now actually like generative AI is going to change the skill set that people are going to need with every single job function that they're going to do, and that's what's going to happen. And I think that there's going to be a huge push for education along that line.
And in terms of technology,
Yeah.
earlier we used to say if you need to do high tech, then you go to the US, you go
Yeah.
to some other Western country. Has this now become like an equalizer that
Yeah.
excellence in technology can happen anywhere?
Yeah, it's actually like incredibly surprising how fast countries are catching up, where the gap is actually like not that much. So, for example, with language models, everybody thought that GPT was actually like going to be so far ahead. But then actually like Facebook released Llama, and then actually like there are countries in the Middle East who have released their own open source models. India has released open source models. So actually like even with that level of deep technology, countries are able to catch up pretty quickly. So that's surprising. Then I was just like talking to Ashwin on the stage, and then he was telling about how he's seeing people in India who are actually creating short form videos using generative AI technology that are extremely compelling. So I think actually it's just not going to come from the US and Europe, but actually like I think generative AI is actually going to be used just as fast in India as in every other place in the country, in the world. That's what I think is going to happen now. Indians are creative. They're actually like cool with technology, and basically like they're going to actually be at the leading edge of using it for creation and everything else.
So, is the school education or college education in India actually equipping us better? Because many people do seem to suggest that
Yeah.
India will have an advantage, not just because of the numbers or the
Yeah.
demographics, but also because of the kind of skill sets that we acquire.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, like education is like a pyramid, and the foundations of it are being able to read, write, and analyze things really well. And that's what actually like primary and middle school education is all about. It's about building those skills to learn how to learn. And then there is actually like specialization with respect to what vertical subjects you want to learn. And computer science and use of technology has actually like come at earlier and earlier stages of education in India, and I think that needs to actually like be more pervasive. And after that, once that happens, then actually like, people have the foundations on top of which to build for, and then the engineering colleges and those people need to like shift their curriculum to make the education much more aligned with what the jobs are going to look like versus actually like teaching theory. So that's how I view education and how it needs to change.
Okay, thousands, if not lakhs of students now spend years just rote learning perhaps, and
Yeah.
sitting for an IIT. I'm not saying the exams are not creative. They are very creative,
Yeah.
but they are meant to eliminate rather than select, I guess, because the numbers are so huge. Is that something that you think we need to get away from now, because it's not just the IITs that are giving us excellent professionals?
So I'm like trying to figure out what is the right way to think about this. Like at every point in time, we need some mechanism for shortlisting talent in different ways, bucketing talent in different ways, because there are only like limited slots for different kinds of jobs. So I think in the past, the way that India used to think about this is that it's like a fixed one-time thing. You either made it to IIT or you didn't actually like make it, and that's like going to be the rest of your life. But the reality that I've learned through my life in the US is that there is always a resetting of that over time. So I didn't actually like go to an IIT. I went to actually like Vigyan Jyoti, was the second batch of that college, which just had 2 sheds at that point in time. But it didn't dictate who I became, because from there I climbed through at different points in time redefining who I was. And then now actually like I've had a pretty good run at Meta over the last 6 years. So the mindset shift is that, hey, it's okay that you didn't get into IIT now. You got into like a local engineering college, but it does not prevent you from actually like having the same type of career that an IITian would have had. Because I am sure that actually like there are a lot of IITians who would actually want my career trajectory right now. So I think that that's what I would ask people to think. It's just don't put constraints on yourself because of what happened to you in this stage. You can actually like always change the game in the next stage, and then it's a continuous process, and you can keep changing at 40, 50, 60 as well. So that's what I want people to take away from this.
Okay, one final thing. It was very interesting that you have spoken about your own career path. The fact that many in India focus so much on technology that other skills, leadership that you spoke about was lacking. Take us through that journey and how you are now trying to help others.
Yeah. So I think a lot of education in India is about working alone. Learning something and actually like showing that you're competent at it. That is what Indian education teaches. But when you go into the workforce, you're never working alone. You're actually like working with other people. What it means is that you need to be able to communicate clearly with other people. You need to be able to collaborate with people. You need to be able to like share credit with people and then not feel scared of actually like collaborating with people. And then you need to be able to like learn to lead without actually like managing the people. A lot of times when we're at work, we run a project, but we don't manage the people on that project. And in order to do that, you need to have great influence skills. And these skills are actually like not taught in schools in India. In the US, the education system is actually like doing team projects and helping people learn these skills. But it was a gap for me when I was growing up in India. And that started to reflect in my career where I was not as collaborative as I should have been early on in my career. And I was not as good with actually communicating well with people. That started to like stagnate my career around 2014 when I could do a great job if all of the people were reporting into me. And I was I had like positional power, and I did that really well. When I didn't have positional power, I was struggling with it. And I had to figure that piece out at Yahoo and Yelp. And by the time I got to Meta, I actually like started to know how to do that very well. And I don't need positional power, but I can actually like influence large groups of people to actually like make big things happen. And that actually like was pretty life-changing for me. And when I started to actually like do that inner work for getting better at work, it also made me a better person, help build deeper relationships with actually like my family and friends. So that was actually like a pretty enlightening experience for me.
And that can happen at any age, anyone who's fresh out of college? Or?
Yeah, so it's something that can happen at any age. And there are people who, there are 25-year-old people who come in and say, hey, I want to learn these skills and not make the mistakes that other people have made. And there are people who actually like come in and actually like say, okay, hey, I'm like 45, I should have learned these things when I was in high school, but now I'm going to learn it, and I see a path from you that actually like you have done this, I see the change, and now I'm trying it out, and I'm actually starting to see the change in myself. And that's what I've realized. So people can change at any point in time if they want to and put in the right effort and learn the right techniques. So that's what I believe.
Thank you so much, Satish. That was an inspiring talk to tell us about what you can do in your career path to become leaders and not someone who's just excellent at what they do. In Hyderabad with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.